So far, David picking up the speed a little bit on the outside, but he's going to be early. He has 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Mark, I think he's okay, but it was close. Now Kelly on the inside has to keep the boat speed up, or Steve David will come over and shut the door on him. David would like to take lane 1 away. He can move over on everybody but Liddycoat, and he does that. He had the 5-boat overlap on the rest of the field, and Steve David realistically should have enough race boat to beat J. Michael Kelly from his right side, but we'll see how that works out. Kelly's brand new boat coming on strong, getting better every time out. Now it begins to form up on the backstretch with J. Michael Kelly on the inside. Steve David in lane 2. In lane 3, it's either Mike Webster or Greg Hopp. They are on the outside there. And John Zimmerman coming up behind the field has time to catch him now before they come around to start-finish. 20 seconds to the start. Zimmerman may be a little late. I don't think he's going to catch the field here. Turning toward us now on the inside, right on the buoy line, J. Michael Kelly, the 88-degree man. Steve David is going to come with him down to start-finish, and they are going to be the leaders. Steve David is going to lead the field across the line. Mike Webster is going to make a good start out in lane 3. Steve David is our leader at the start-finish line at the start of Heat 3A. On the inside, J. Michael Kelly has already lost a little bit of ground to him. Into the turn now, Steve David leading this field at the apex. Everybody getting through there okay, we think they are. J. Michael Kelly did a great job of driving that boat on the inside. I am joined now by David Williams, the executive director of the Hydroplane and Raceboat Museum, who has driven Unlimiteds, a qualified driver, but you haven't had to make a crazy start like these guys are doing, David. They're putting on quite a show before the start of the race, aren't they?
Well, I tell you, this new starting procedure's added a whole different element to it. It's just like 5-liter racing. If you're used to watching the guys score up in 5-liter racing, it takes a while to get the hang of it, but these guys are putting on one whale of a battle right now.
J. Michael Kelly on the inside, Steve David leaving him room, and Kelly right at the exit pin, right on the buoy line. Looks like about the way it did last time before the start. Got a good race back there for 4th and 5th. We'll talk about in a minute. Steve David coming across the line at the end of lap 1. Needs to score about 800 points here if he wants to make the final heat. And of course that's impossible. The most you can get is 4. Third place boat is Mike Webster in the 22. Great Scott presents Campaign WSU. David, that's a boat that gets better every time we see it.
That's a team that has just been picking up speed all season long. That was a brand new hull to them. Of course, it's the old Oberto, the backup Oberto, and they have come a long ways in just a very short time.
Greg Hopp is down on power. He is parked up in the left-hand turn. Apparently his race is finished. John Zimmerman came by in 4th place. This one is all Steve David all the way. On the backstretch, the U1 Oh Boy Oberto. J. Michael Kelly giving chase as Hopp gets it up and started again, but he's way behind the field. He's going to try to get it around and pick up 5th place points. Coming down now to finish lap 2. Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto, the easy leader here. David, you've been watching this sport a long time as we have. Never have seen this driver have this kind of a weekend. He's had everything possible go wrong.
Well, Steve's benefited from good luck along the way, and it all comes back to you some days, and he's getting all the bad luck from the last couple of years in one race on one day.
It is doubtful that the U1 Oh Boy Oberto will be in our final heat, and that is going to be a big story here. He's leading this one, but the 400 points we don't think will be enough. That's not official, of course, until everything happens at the end and we see how the other boats in the top 6 fare. He's coming up the backstretch now. He's going to chase down Greg Hopp and perhaps put a lap on him. That'll be 2 laps on Greg because he missed one while the boat was parked. A little bit of a race back here for 2nd and 3rd as J. Michael Kelly is being chased by Mike Webster in the boat we talked about, the 22. Great Scott presents Campaign WSU, and the Webster family really bringing that boat on now. It is a former Miss Madison. A lot of the Madison fans feel very fondly about this boat, as well you should, and it is performing very well for Mike and Steve and Sue Webster out of Reading, Pennsylvania. Greg Hopp now coming down to complete a lap, starting his final lap as Steve David went by in the rooster tail. We couldn't see him. He was inside a Hopper's rooster tail. Steve David picked up the checkered flag, even though we didn't see him come by. J. Michael Kelly motors by easily now. He'll pick up 2nd place. Mike Webster, after a good run with the 22, will be in 3rd place. And just coming down the start-finish line now, John Zimmerman in the U9. Visit TriCities.com. Not quite as wild and woolly a start as we've seen in the past, but we did see, David, a case of leapfrogging on the backstretch, which you can do. That was talked about as kind of an afterthought when they explained this new starting procedure, but it's become a pretty big factor, taking the lane away from a guy on the backstretch after the score-up buoy, which you can do if you have the 5 boat links.
It's a big factor, and you'll see some of the guys, and I mentioned earlier the 5-liter racing, some of the guys with limited inboard experience, Jeff Bernard, Jay Michael,
Kip Brown,
and Scott Littlecote, they all have experience in this type of racing, and they brought their skill that they developed in the 5 liters into unlimited racing, and it's going to be fun to watch.
The problem, though, is, and you've driven different size race boats, I don't think you have the maneuverability to be changing lanes and moving around as quickly as you do in a 5-liter or a smaller boat. What do you think?
That's right. These boats are not nearly as nimble as those 5 liters are. They take a little longer to accelerate and a little longer to slow down.